We're live. I believe we're just going to give it just a moment to let everybody jump on in. Welcome, everyone. And I'll wait for the go-ahead from our director behind the scenes there. We're all good to go. Awesome. Welcome, everybody, to Perfecting Your Pizza with Nico Moretti and Thermomix, of course. We're really excited. We have got an amazing lineup for you today. By the end of this session, you are going to know how to make the best pizza ever. I promise you that, because this is our pizza extraordinaire. Nico, welcome.
Ciao tutti.
Now, who has seen some of Nico's work before? I'd love you to pop in the chat box, also where you're from, which model Thermomix do you have, and what you're most looking forward to learning out of this session today. So while you're doing that, Nico, tell us a little bit about you. You've been part of the Thermomix family for a while.
Since, 22, well, since Grace started, So what's that, 21, 22 years now, I think.
Years.
Yeah,
One of the longest standing consultants, really.
Yes, and Thermomix is #1 fan, as I say,
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we're #1 fans of yours, so I think
Thank
it equals out. Tell us, what are you doing for us today? What are you going to show everybody?
So, pizza is what is born into me. It's part of my DNA, because my father introduced pizza to a population in Canada that had never tasted pizza before. So I'm a pizza boy. I grew up in a cave, a pizza cave.
Literally, guys, literally.
Yeah, so Dad's restaurant was called Vito's Pizza Cave, and it was designed as a cave. So
cool.
I've lived with pizza, and I love pizza. So
Fantastic.
so when the Ovana came out, I thought, oh, fantastic, we can start doing it that way too, which is great. So,
and we're excited to learn from you, because you've done a few classes with us in the past, quite a few classes, and one of them was making pizza, and we had such a cry out for, oh, we want to learn more. So this is why we brought this class to you today. So what are we going to do to get started? What's the first step?
So I guess the first thing is all about the dough, okay? And look, there's all kinds of different versions of pizza dough, but I'm going to show you what we would have had in a pizza restaurant, like a 72-hour fermented dough, cold ferment, that just sort of enriches it with flavor, and it's the classic pizza that you would get in Italy. And so I think if you start with a good pizza base, everything else just tastes so much better.
Yeah.
And so, and look, I say go with whatever you want, but you do need a little bit of time. This 3 days in the fridge, but the active time is pretty simple. So let's start with that.
There's a place for fast cooking, but there's also a place for taking a little bit more time. And I think this is well worth taking.
Look, if you know you're going to have a pizza night or whatever with family or friends, start the 3 days before. Just get the dough all ready, and then you're not going to be as caught up on the day. Yeah.
So we're starting with just making the dough from scratch, aren't we?
That's right.
Okay.
So the thing about a 72-hour cold ferment is we need to do a pre-ferment, okay? That sort of pre-ferment allows you to not have to use as much yeast, and it's also going to start giving it the flavor that you want. Super simple. All we've got is 7 grams, a sachet of some yeast, and we need some water. We'll set the scales up on here. Whoops, I always working backwards.
Now, you've all got the ebook that was sent out to you with your confirmation email of the class. But if you don't, Jess will be popping that into the chat for you in case you missed it. But that's got all of Nico's recipes in there, readily available for you.
There we go, 500, thereabouts.
Perfect.
So all that is the yeast and the water, and we're just going to give this a quick little mix up. Because this process just takes 20 seconds all up, pretty much, okay? And no salt, no oil, no nothing at this point. All we're doing is we're going to allow the yeast to start doing its thing and creating those beautiful sort of gluten strands and stuff as well. So we're just mixing the water with the yeast, a few seconds. And then what we've got is our flour. Now, if you look at the recipe, you've got some choices. Baker's flour, which is a strong flour, 00, or a combination of semola, which is a hard durum wheat flour.
I was going to ask you about that, semola. I've never heard of that before.
Semola is a much a wheat that's used a lot for pasta.
Right, okay.
And it also just gives strength to dough and stuff as well. And you can find it quite readily. So let me just get this going here. They don't want to run out of time. And so what we've got is about 600 grams of the flour. And you could also use 00 flour, which is a strong flour as well, but it's finer. So you're gonna end up with a much softer dough. I think if you use the semola with the 00, it strengthens it up a little bit. And all we're going to do is just gonna mix this up for 20 seconds, speed 5. Get that out
We
of
can
the
put
way.
it back
Oh,
in there,
pop
shall
that
we?
back in. Yeah,
We
cool.
can grab a bit of oil if do you want some oil too?
Yes, thanks.
Okay.
And let's see. Cool. 20 seconds, simple. So you would do this, let's say you're going to have a pizza night on a Friday night, let's say. You'd probably start this on Tuesday night, okay? So there's our dough. It's quite sort of
Sticky.
scratchy and sticky.
Yep.
And what we want to do is just pop this into, well, I was going to oil that.
First.
Cool.
Sorry.
And also a little bit of oil in there. If you get some oil on your fingers, oil is your friend with these sticky sorts of doughs.
Yeah.
You can sort of start to, be careful. I'm going to do what I do at home anyways, is just being careful around those blades. I'm just sort of dragging most of it without touching the blades too much. So you can see that is a really sticky dough.
Yeah, it's beautiful and sticky. And normally that would be something that I'd go, oh, it didn't work. Or,
Yep, no.
We want it like this.
That's it.
Yeah.
Water, yeast, and flour.
Yeah.
And then all we do is cover this up, pop this in the fridge overnight, and we'll move on to the next step.
Great.
So there we go there.
All right, so everyone can see that. Any questions on the dough so far? We can get to the questions at the end anyway if we don't cover it. So if you do have questions, pop them into the chat box and then we'll address them later. So we've popped it into our mixing bowl and what we're going to do is put it aside. I think it stays at room temperature for an hour, doesn't it?
An hour, yeah. Just get that yeast sort of starting to do its thing and then cover it up into the fridge overnight.
So
all right.
Here's one we prepared earlier.
Excellent. I love it.
So what day would this be? If we started on Tuesday, this will now be Wednesday.
So so Tuesday night, this would be Wednesday morning or whenever you get to it.
Yep.
Being a cold ferment, it's not going to sort of go crazy. All right, it's in the fridge.
Well, you can have a look here.
So what you can see here, it is a beautiful. So what we're going to do, let's get this started here. I'll show you this when we put it in there. Now what we want to do is this is quite wet and sticky, and that's what's going to give this dough a really nice chewiness and fluffiness when we cook it up. So what we do need to do is add a little bit more flour.
There we go.
And so if you look at your recipe, it says additional 200 grams of baker's flour, but in the actual method, it says 150. So just start with 150, and if it needs that extra little bit, go to the 200. So I started the recipe with 150, but I've added a little bit more just so some people are saying it was a bit too sticky or hard to work with.
It kind of depends which flour you're using
yeah,
as well,
if you're using 00, definitely you want to add that more flour. Okay, so now what we've got.
Who loves the scales, by the way, on their Thermomix? Doesn't it make life easier?
Well, that's why it's perfect for making pizzas or any baking. Like I said, I wasn't much of a baker before I got my Thermomix 22 years ago, whatever it was.
There's 200
and
in that one.
200, perfect. We'll go to 200. And I think the scales just changed the game for me wanting to bake things that I would never have done before.
Absolutely.
Now, what we'll do is we also want to add in some salt.
Here we go.
Sorry.
I got it for you.
Some salt, about
Honey.
10 grams, 10 to 20 grams, and a little bit of honey, okay? If you could heat that up a little bit, just to sort of make it a little bit more runnier. And what the honey's going to do, it's just going to add a little bit of feeding material to the dough because it's going to be in the fridge for the 3 days, right? So it just helps it to sort of continue to feed with the sugars in that. We need some oil.
There we go.
Pop that into there.
Beautiful.
And now what we can do is add in our pre-ferment. Where's my little scraper? In here. Okay. And so you can see how this has already started to get all these beautiful little strands of gluten happening in there. Okay. Cool. And now what we're going to do is we're going to knead this for 3 minutes. So we'll set our scale,
And these beautiful bowls, by the way, which have lids on them, they come in a set of 3 on the mix shop. So make sure you check those out because it's the perfect size for this pizza.
Okay.
All right,
So
that's doing 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Cool.
in that time. I was going to say, talking about scales, but
Yeah.
also this whole kneading feature. When I had my demo, which Grace did my demo way back when she was starting out, it was the scales that floored me. And when we made like pizza dough or a bread dough, and I just couldn't stop not looking inside of it and just watching what it was done. I said,
It was
wow,
amazing.
that is, yeah.
Well, this actually reminds me, guys, if anybody is interested in finding out about becoming a consultant, you know, there is a 15-minute little chat at the end with one of our BDMs. So hang on right at the end if you're keen on finding out a bit more about that. All right, what are we going to do while we're waiting for this 3 minutes?
While we're waiting on 3 minutes there, we're going to go to the topping. One of the toppings, we're going to do a potato and rosemary and Gruyere pizza, and we're going to do a margherita with a basil oil. So while we've got 3 minutes, let's just show you how we do the potatoes for the topping.
Perfect.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So this is the cutter.
It is the cutter. Who's heard of the cutter? I think everyone has.
So perfect for getting that super thin slices of potato for this pizza. We put the shaft onto onto the blaze, and then we've got our hopper that will go into there, and the lid that has our cutter. We got the slicer feature on the top, and you got the grater on the bottom. So you just got to make
You
sure
know, remember
where
that?
it is.
Slate for slice, grey for grate.
Okay.
That's how you know which way to go.
And so that'll go on there, and we'll just go to the slicing mode, if I can find it here. Grating, slicing, slicing. All right. And then all we got to do is pop this into here, get some potatoes. Ideally, get smaller potatoes so they sort of fit into the hopper. And we just turn this to thin or thick. We want to go thin. And we'll just pop that down.
Beautiful.
And pop that down.
It is as quick as that, guys. How amazing is that? And I know at the moment you've probably got some people going, "What? When can we get it?" It's coming soon. I think we've got some messages going out there to share with you when you can get it.
There we go. And what we've got
Look
are
at that.
these amazing
love it.
thin see-through slices of potato that we will then, to prepare for the pizzas, blanch them in some salted water for about 3 minutes, drain them out, cool them down, lay them out onto a towel, roll that up and dry them up, and you'll end up with your potatoes. And you really, it's a potato pizza, and because they cook so quickly in the Havana, you need to cook them first. You can't put raw potato on that, or they're not going to cook through. And also the beauty of this is you can have this done like a day or 2 days beforehand, and then yeah, just have it in the fridge until you're ready to pop it on the pizza.
Can you just explain which potato you use? Because you were specific in your
Oh,
instructions.
look, here in WA, it's different. You know, over East, here in WA, we don't have a lot of choices. I like the purple ones, the royal blue ones.
Royal blue.
They've just got a nicer flavor, nicer color and stuff as well. Okay, so our dough is now ready. And this is the point where we want to now ball it up. The recipe will make about 5 250-gram dough balls, which is enough for a standard size pizza, let's say. And what we want to do is, what I like to do is, if I can get another bowl, is if you want to get your quantities just right, what I like to do
There's a
is
beautiful
pop.
benefit of having 2 bowl blade lids there, guys.
Absolutely. You could, yeah, if you didn't have if you haven't got a second bowl as yet, you could just sort of take the dough out of there and then pop the bowl back on there. All right, oil is your friend here.
Oil. Where did we
And
put
so,
it? This is a little bowl. Oh no.
oh, you know what? I think I used that.
You used
oil.
it?
I used that
Let's
oil.
put some more there
into
for
the
you.
pizza dough. They did put oil in that, which, yeah, I saw it down. I know, maybe it's. So, okay, so now what you can do is just get your hands oiled up and set the scales here.
So it's still a sticky dough, Nico.
It's
isn't
still
it?
a
But
sticky
it's
dough.
not
Yeah,
as
yeah.
sticky as before.
And so we need some scales.
Yep.
All right. So what I do is just sort of pop that on there, 190, go a little bit more, and we'll just use that to get our 250-gram.
It's 250 we're looking for.
250, yeah.
Okay. So I love that
256, that's
the
good.
recipe doesn't really have a lot of oil in it, does it?
It doesn't have any oil in it, but you saw that I did put some oil
You
in
put
there.
some-
So because I put oil in my focaccia, and so some
okay.
pizza doughs do have oil in it, but this one you don't need to put it in.
You don't have
It'll
to.
still be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we'll just go set the scales and just keep going 250 for the
That
next
is the
one.
beauty of the scales, isn't it? Because
just
you
take
can
it off.
literally just tear and then just keep going
Yeah.
on top.
And we'll do one more.
Yeah, we'll do 3.
Yeah. And set the scales, or you can just do the math in your head. If you got some kids, okay, 250, and then the next one, 250. Look at that.
Perfect.
Awesome. And
Fabulous.
so,
I can take that away.
great. So now what we need to do is we need to ball this up. We need to form it into a dough ball just to allow the air to then get into it for the next 3 days of fermenting that it's going to do. So have some containers, a couple of options. You've got the Ovana pizza silicone bowls.
They're
Yep.
considered Ovana accessories, which at the moment, guys, there's a 20% discount on Ovana accessories. So just check that out
So
if you want to after.
To
Not
ball
right now.
this up, what you want to do is just oil's your friend, pop some oil onto your hands, and then just stretch this as if you're making sort of dough ball, like bread buns or rolls or whatever. We're sort of stretching the top, putting it underneath, and we just want to sort of pinch it underneath to sort of seal it all up. And that will then go into your oiled pizza dough ball holders.
Silicone holders, and I've also even put some oil
On the top, definitely.
Yeah.
You want to do that because this will sort of start to take on air and process up. If you haven't got those, you can do a couple of other options. You can get 750 mil sort of plastic containers. So you can see this is what, this is now about 2.5 days sort of ferment.
It's good for us to see. Because
yeah, and that's what I want to show you.
the
What we're
bubbles.
doing here, we're getting all this beautiful air bubbles and stuff in it. So that's going to give that crust a really nice sort of texture and chew and flame up. Or alternatively, what you could do is just set it into trays like that, okay? So this is 3. So you can imagine that they would have been this size to begin with, and you can see how big they do grow out and expand to anyways. So any questions on that at all? So just tuck it under, get it nice and tight.
It just adds like a pocket of air in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it just allows it to sort of hold the air, whatever air is going to be sort of developing in there as we ferment that, as we let that
We'll
proof.
do the last one later.
Yep, cool.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Next
Next up.
that's the dough. So how long would they keep it in the fridge?
So yeah, so then you would pop it in the fridge for, like I said, the 3 days. So Monday night, we did the pre-ferment, Tuesday, Wednesday, and here we are, Thursday night making pizzas. And the beauty of it is as well, if you got them in the containers and, you know, use what you want, you could easily freeze that at that point. That's when you want to freeze it, and then you can use it later on.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Cool.
You just bring it to room temperature?
Just pop it in the fridge the night before, let it defrost, and then bring it to room temperature before we start pressing and stretching it out. Cool.
Awesome.
Okay.
We're all following along so far. Please let us know where you've caught up to where we're at. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Sourdough with instead of yeast. Okay. What do we do with
And
that?
look, yeah, that's it is a different sort of pre-ferment, let's say, going on with sourdough, but I haven't worked with a sourdough pre-ferment before. I don't see why you couldn't use it. You're probably not going to get as big a rise happening, but all I can say is give it a try. Plenty of recipes out there with that, but yeah. So we're just using the normal instant yeast, and we've used a smaller, a small amount for the quantity of flour that we're using because we are giving it those 3 days to allow it to sort of feed and do its thing. Yeah.
And I'll ask you about why fermenting dough is better for you in just a sec, but we'll talk about the toppings now.
Okay.
Before we go to doing that, do you chop your cheeses into the Thermomix?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You should always never buy pre-chopped or grated cheese. You've got a Thermomix, you don't have to do that. And yeah, all I do is just cut. So we've got some Gruyere.
Yes.
So like I said, just coarsely chop the cheeses. Doesn't need to be shredded or whatever. So just cut them into 2 centimeter size chunks, enough so that no bigger than the hole that's in the lid, and then just give it a quick chop, speed 5 for a few seconds. And
so speed 5 because you want it to be rough chop?
we want it to
Rough.
be yeah. So
rough
we don't
chop.
want to mill it or anything.
No.
So yeah, so just 4 or 5, and you can see how it's just nice and coarsely chopped up.
Beautiful.
And I do the same for lasagnas or pizzas or whatever. So we've got our mozzarella, our Gruyere. We've got our
Parmesan.
Parmigiano as well, Parmesan that we've grated up. And also in here, ideally, if you are wanting to use the more wetter cheeses, bocconcini, that sort of stuff as well, moisture on a pizza is not a good thing, right? So what I would suggest you do is get your bocconcini and tear it up, cut it up or whatever, and then press it into a clean tea towel to get as much moisture off as you can.
Good tip.
Even with cheeses like this, in the restaurant, what Dad would do is they would get the big blocks of cheese, they would grate, you know, they had a big cheese grater sort of thing, and they would leave it in the fridge uncovered and to dry it out. And that way you get that nice sort of chewy cheese. So if you want to do that as well, another step, just have your cheeses done and then pop it in the fridge overnight uncovered, and that'll dry it out a bit as well.
Awesome tip.
Cool.
All right, so we're now going to move on to the other toppings. So you've got tomato sauce, which is a recipe in your ebook.
Yes.
So we're not actually going to make it because it's a super simple. But
well, yeah, and the thing with pizzas is the sauce is just super simple. You want just the tomato. We don't need to cook it down or do anything to it. You can flavor it up as much as you like, but I just keep it super simple. You want a tin of whole peeled tomatoes, okay? And I talk about this in my other class or whatever.
Very passionate about the
Don't buy the
chop.
don't buy the puree, don't buy any of those. Get the whole peeled tomatoes. You've got a Thermomix, you can crush them up. The reason for that is I can open this up and I can see that they're beautiful, ripe, whole peeled tomatoes. The crushed, the diced, those other ones, they're using tomatoes that didn't quite make the grade to make into their own tin. Yeah. And as an Italian cooking, you want to use the best ingredients you possibly can. So, absolutely. And so also, we don't need to cook it because you want that little bit of acidity in the tomato sauce to sort of cut through the richness of cheese or whatever else you're putting onto the pizza as well.
Even easier, right?
So yeah, it's super easy. So we just put the tin of tomatoes, some extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper, and some fresh basil just chopped up, shredded up in there as well. I'm not a big fan of dried herbs in there and things, but use whatever you like, whatever your flavor preferences are, but I just want to keep it super simple.
Beautiful. So we love it. So that's our sauce. The recipe's in there.
Yeah.
Basil oil. That's the other topping that you're using.
Yeah. So look, you know, a margarita, the classic margarita would have the bocconcini mozzarella on it and the tomato sauce, and then you've got the green of the basil leaves or whatever. But sometimes to have it sort of put on later or whatever, if you've got a lot of people, a lot of pizzas making, can be difficult. So I suggest that you make up a basil oil so you can get that beautiful green color and flavor as well. Super simple. We've got about 30 grams of some basil leaves. We've got 15 grams here anyways. And all we want to do is we just want to blanch it in some boiling water for about 10 seconds. And that's going to set the color. And so we're just going to pop it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, using the little latchy thingy to sort of get this out. Quickly plunge it into some icy cold water.
Yep, beautiful.
Cool that down. And then we need a clean tea towel. And we will take that out.
So what does the ice water do? That just
stops from cooking anymore, right? So we've just sort of set the color. Yeah, we just want to really sort of squeeze that out, get out any of that moisture. Beautiful. And then just as best you can, we just want to sort of, we're going to work quickly here. Just sort of pop that onto a tea towel. Roll it up, do whatever, just to dry it out a little bit.
When I was making this batch, I was like being so careful with the leaves.
We're gonna go crazy with it, milling it up now, anyways.
Guys.
So we'll just throw this in.
We can use this one.
Yep.
Because I think we've got cheese in this.
Cheese in there.
Yeah, you can use that one.
Use that one here. Yeah. All right. So just the basil, a little bit of salt here.
And olive oil.
And some oil.
There you go.
Set the scales. I have no idea where. Set the scales here.
Every machine's different.
Well, yeah, everybody sets up their icons as they wish anyway.
I'm not sure if you know, but in the modes section, you can actually choose the order of the modes and, you know, determined by the ones that you use more of. And you can even hide certain modes that maybe you don't use. So that's why every machine's different. You've got to try and find where the mode is.
We'll just sort of mill that up.
Whoa.
And like I said, we're just going to half batch there, but That's the gist of it. Pour it into a little squeezy bottle, and that'll keep in the fridge for a couple of days, or you can freeze what you don't use anyways.
We can pour
And
that
that's
one
just
in
got
here.
a beautiful color that will add to the margarita pizza.
Gorgeous. So how often do you keep going with this? Because it says 1 minute and then keep going if you need to.
Yeah, as I say, we've only got a small quantity in here. You can sort of
Yeah.
see that we can probably go a little bit more, but the more you've got in there, the better it'll mill
Yeah,
down
fair
anyways,
enough.
right? So
Okay.
you can see there's still some big chunks. Depends on how you're going to apply it. If you're going to
Mhm.
put it into a squeezy bottle, you might want to go a little bit more,
Okay.
but you can just drizzle it on with the spoon if you wanted to. Then we've got that
It
beautiful
smells
green color.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can use that for anything, put it, drizzle it around.
Salad.
Yeah, drizzle it around pesto pastas or whatever, or just a dot onto plates and things like that.
Okay, so that's our toppings pretty much, isn't it? As
It
simple as
is
that?
simple, simple.
Okay.
And when it comes to making pizzas, you want to keep it simple. As I say in the class notes, be like an Italian and don't overload the pizzas. You don't go to Italy and get meat lovers and stuff. And as much as that's great, you can do that. But if you are using these small portable ovens, you do want to cook them quite quickly. And if you've got too many toppings on it, it can sort of, not cook through before it starts to burn anyways.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're up to making the pizza now,
Okay,
right?
cool.
We're going to start. Yeah.
Yes?
Can you please explain the point of blanching the basil and why you couldn't just chuck it in and...
Well, yeah.
So I'm just going to repeat the question because I don't think they can hear. The question is what the difference is between blanching or just throwing it straight in the Thermomix.
Yeah, and
Why?
why we want to blanch it is we're going to set the color and set the basil to keep that color. I don't know if you've ever chopped up basil and just starts to oxidize.
Yeah.
So by blanching it, you're going to eliminate that ability for the basil to oxidize. It's
And
going
it's
to
a
just
common
sort of
practice for chefs, isn't
it
it?
is.
They
So
kind
you're
of do
blanching
that.
spinach and things like that because it's going to firstly allow it to not oxidize because it's just fresh. Yeah.
Fair
So
enough.
keeps the color, sets the color, and then you do it.
All right.
Cool.
So we've got our toppings. Now I'm going to get out of your way so
All
you
right.
can now show
Now,
the
your
mastery.
oven has been on. You want to get it as hot as possible. It's 40 degrees here in Perth. We could probably cook the pizzas on the pavement out there today,
Yeah,
but
it's pretty
we've
hot.
got the oven up, fired up out there, and you want to make sure it's hot, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so that we've done. I usually fire mine. It doesn't use a lot of gas, so I'll usually fire it up about 45 minutes beforehand.
Okay.
Okay, and just let that burn. The other benefit of doing that as well is I don't know if you've got your Ovanas or whatever pizza ovens you got, but if you've got your Ovana, if you allow it to heat up and burn, it's going to clean that stone on the
Stone,
bottom. So
yes.
if you've got remnants of your last pizza party or whatever on the bottom of the stone, the best way of cleaning it up is just to crank it up, put the cover onto it, and just let that go. And that's going to go all to ash,
Yep.
and then just have one of those
Brush.
Ivana brushes and just brush it out.
It's a really good tip.
So
with your
yeah, so
Havanas.
get it fired up well and truly before you start to
Yeah.
get everything prepped up.
And guys, even though there's a 20% sale on at the moment for Ovana accessories, it doesn't include the Ovana. However, if you fill in the survey that you get after this class, we love to hear your feedback. We love to know what you loved, what you want to see more of. You will get sent a 10% discount that you can actually use on anything in the mixture. So make sure you fill out that survey so that you can, get access to that. All right.
Okay, stretching time.
Yay.
So, a couple of options. What we'll do is we will get these out of here, or we'll use one of these. Yeah, we'll start with this one, okay, just so you can see how we do it.
Easy.
Now, what I've got here is a mixture of semola. Now we're going to talk about semola is hard durum wheat. It's sort of what they ultimately get other wheat from. But this is the wheat that they use in Italy to make pastas, and they use it in baking stuff as well. I think it's better to digest. It's a better type of flour as well. And because it's a hard durum wheat, it doesn't burn as much if you've got it on your pizza base and stuff as
Great
well.
point.
So I've got a mixture of this is the double zero and coarse semolina, half and half. Coarse semolina acts as like ball bearing, so it's going to allow you to keep shaking that, because if it's stuck to your paddle, it's not going to launch. Okay, so we're going to talk about Taylor Swifting, shaking it all. Okay,
yeah,
shake it. All right. So
for those that can't find the semola flour,
yeah, just use your flour.
Your
yeah.
flour with a
But
mixture of
ideally,
semolina.
get
we have
some
a question.
get some coarse semolina. Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, the semolina, are they the same?
different. Yeah, different. Just the textures and the flours that they use to make semolina. They can mix other stuff in with semolina, okay? But semola is different, and you'll find it now. You find it in a lot of places now.
So at
anyways.
home, you would use just semola here.
I will use semola
With
and coarse semolina.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So what we've got is we're just going to gently tip this out. You want to keep all that air in there.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Look at that, guys.
And we just want to gently coat this in our semola. You see these little bubbles of air still in there, okay?
That's how you know it's going to be a good dough.
And so then flour up your work surface.
And this is a specific one.
This is my nonna and my mom. Most Italian nonnas and moms would have had a pasta making board. I got this in Melbourne. There's a place called Artisan Bottega. You can get them online as well, and it's great for containing all your flour and stuff as well. And it just sort of sits on the end of the bench. So now what we want to do, we want to stretch this out. I want to give you the easiest way. Trying to do the old flip that pizzaiolas do is fantastic if you can get the technique going. But I'm going to show you super simple. Using your fingers, we just want to press the air into the edges of the dough as we form up our pizza base, okay? And then the technique I use to stretch it so we get a nice thin bottom is, I call it the steering wheel technique. You're using the weight of the dough to sort of start to stretch it, okay? And I'm pressing in around that crust, trying to keep that air in the crust, and that will start to stretch that dough out, okay?
Fantastic.
Another way of doing it, and what you see is just
pizza shops?
Just pop pizza shop is just pop it onto your knuckles, and you can just sort of give it a little bit of a stretch and just letting the weight of that. So using your fingers just to stretch it out like that.
Yeah, that's great. And the dough, you can tell it's such a good dough because
It's a
allowing
soft,
you
just
to do
elastic
that.
sort of dough.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. And all right. So we can probably go, once we've got it there, I want to go a little bit thinner again.
Because traditionally a good pizza has a thin base and it's got that nice crust around the edge.
That nice cornicione on the outside. Yeah.
Cornicione, is that what you call it?
Cornicione, yeah.
Cornicione.
All right, so you can sometimes get it to the point where, I don't know if you can see, and you probably won't see it, you can see the light sort of starting to come through it, okay? So just gently stretching it out, and that's it. All right.
Cool.
So now we're going to do a potato one.
Yes.
To start off.
Potato first?
Yeah. So
All
what we're
right.
going to do, super simple. We've got our Gruyere cheese, and we've got some rosemary there as well.
We sure do.
We're just going to...
And we've got our launch that comes with the Havana just behind you. But you do that after you've done the toppings.
Yeah, look, ideally, ideally you're right. What you can do is...
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no,
What?
good point. What I would suggest you do is, pop the stretched out pizza base onto here. Just not too much flour, but enough to sort of get it on there. And then you want to sort of slide that up, okay? Do that before you put the cheese on. We'll show you on the next one anyways. And the thing is, you want to keep shaking it. Shake, okay? You always want to shake it off. Shake. Because if it's not shaking here, it's not going to shake when you launch it in your pizza oven, okay?
Yeah.
And all that stuff's just going to get everywhere. So just keep shaking it as best you can. All right, so we've got our Gruyere.
Yep.
I also like to add some Parmigiano to this one.
Beautiful.
We've got our rosemary that we've just finely chopped up as well.
And you're not very heavy-handed with your toppings, are you?
No,
There's a
because
reason
they're not
for
going to
that,
be not going to be in the oven for very long, right? So we want to get them cooked through, and you can just give this a little bit of oil if you like on there, and our potato. And so these are our blanched potatoes. Just sort of pop them around.
They've been dried within a tea towel after they've been blanched.
And we'll just pop these onto here.
Who
It's a
doesn't
little
love?
bit thick.
Yeah, that one was one of the ends. Who doesn't love a potato pizza? There's other ones.
And then,
There's
sorry,
ones
this
you
is
need
where
more.
we'll put our oil on
there
the
we
top. Okay. Ready? We're going to go launch
All
this
right,
out.
so what's going to
Shaky,
happen is the
shaky,
camera's
shaky.
going to change in just a moment. We're going to give Nico just a moment to get out there. He's going to the pizza oven. I am just going to remind you all that we have a business information session at the end. So just wait till the end if you are interested to find out a bit about becoming a consultant. Great thing about being a consultant, you get access to all these things. Anyway, over to Nico. I think
Okay.
we are just going to join the Zoom over with my phone. What's happened is that the 40-degree day has caused the camera we had outside to melt down, literally. So I am just going to join on my phone. I'm going to get the gorgeous Jess to put in the meeting ID for me. Don't you just love some technical issues like what we have today? Don't worry, you haven't missed it. We're going to show you again how to launch it into the oven, okay? And we're also going to do another pizza. So you'll
All
get
right.
to see it. Is that one ready?
This one's ready.
Oh, one
So
pizza's ready, but
so-
we'll show you the launch
Hey,
again.
look, we
in a
got
sec.
plenty of dough balls here, so we'll get another one going.
Okay.
But there's our pizza. Like, what's that? Couple of minutes, was it?
It wasn't even. It was
Not
like
even a couple
minute,
minutes. So
a
yeah, so like I
minute.
said, look at you got that with this dough. The longer, the 3 days in there, you start getting this beautiful leopard spotting on the side, a classic Italian sort of thing. And that's all these little air bubbles just all sort of cooking off. You got a nice color happening on the bottom,
Oh, it's gorgeous.
and a beautiful Gruyere tangy
smell.
smell. All right, shall we do it again? We'll do the margarita.
Yeah, so let's shape the margarita
Yep.
while we're waiting to get that all
Cool.
on.
And
Who would have known would get stuck with a 40-degree
well,
day
that's
today?
it. Yeah. The iPhone just wasn't happy with that. So
No.
okay, so
All
let's use one of these ones here.
Yeah.
All right. So what we'll do is
need
we've
the
got one of
scraper?
these scrapers just to, just sort of trying to get it out of there as best we can in one piece.
So while Nico's getting that out, the Ivana comes with the launch paddle and the turning peel. So I'm going to go and grab the, you need the launch, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
grab
yeah.
that.
All right. Well, that's happening. Let's just go back to our stretching. So once again, into our flour semolina, just sort of gently sort of getting it dusted up so it's not going to stick too much onto a lightly dusted surface. Grab our pizza dough, fingers, just starting in from the edge, closest to you anyways. And what we're doing is just pushing those air bubbles out into the edge of the crust, like that.
So
All
this
right.
pizza's a margarita, is it, Nico?
This is going to be the
Flavor,
margarita, that's right.
margarita,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Okay. And once again, you've got that sort of stretched out as flat as you can, let's say. And now we'll do the steering wheel technique. Just sort of, you can even just leave it on there if you wanted to, if you're not comfortable with picking it up. But just sort of lift it, and that's going to start stretching. All right. Or, like I said, pick it up and start just letting it hang over top of your knuckles, trying not to get your fingers to pierce it. But I don't know if you can see the light coming through. You can see it this way, but you can sort of start seeing the light coming
Yeah,
through.
you
So you know
can.
that's what we're looking for, a nice thin sort of base.
So what happens if you accidentally, because I know this has happened to me,
Yes.
put a hole in the...
Yeah, well, grab a little piece of dough and try to press it back on, definitely.
Catch it up,
You
eh?
don't want a hole in the bottom because that cheese is just going to then make a mess in your pizza oven,
Trying
okay?
to find your bocconcini. Here it is. Are you going to use bocconcini on
Yeah,
this?
yeah. Well, you've got some mozzarella. We'll use both. Yeah. All right. So there we go. Nice and flattened out, stretched out. We've got our launcher.
In my hand.
Excellent. Yes. So just a little bit of flour. Slide that on. Scoop it up. Shaky, 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 shaky.
Shaky.
Okay. And then we've got our super fresh, super simple tomato sauce. Tomato, oil, salt, and some fresh basil.
Lovely.
Just sort of use a little spoon just to... The other thing I say, look, if you are having a pizza party, find a friend, find a helper, because you don't want to be doing it all by yourself. Get somebody to man the pizza oven.
Yeah.
So while that's happening, you can be making another pizza, okay?
Yeah,
Because,
definitely a two-man show, isn't it?
definitely, yeah, it's just going to make it
can I ask
involve
you,
some people.
I shredded that. Is that need to be finer usually with
The basil?
in there?
No. Of
That's
course you
okay
shred it.
to
That's
have?
fine.
Cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. It just gives it a nice little fresh flavor to it
Yeah.
anyway. So,
Beautiful.
all right. So we've got some parmigiano just onto there. Just gives it a nice saltiness, tanginess to the rest of the cheeses that you're using. We've got some mozzarella that we've chopped up. Okay. And If you want to put that bocconcini onto it, once again, make sure it's dry, okay?
This is the baby bocconcini, and we cut them in half.
Cut them in half and then press them in a clean tea towel. All right, and then that's it. And we're gonna, normally we'd put the basil in at the end. Shaky, shaky, shaky.
All right,
We're
let's
all ready
see.
to go.
Are we ready there, Jess?
All good?
Okay, we're all good.
Follow me.
Okay, off you go.
Shaky, shaky, shaky.
And what we're going to do is once you've seen this, we'll come back inside and we'll cut the pizza so you can actually hear that crunch as well. All right, I think we're over to Nico. Yes, it's working.
All good. Okay. So what we do is get it sort of set in there at the back where you're going to put it, and then just gently shake and slide that out. Okay, depending on where you are, how hot it is, if you want, pop the cover back on just to keep the heat in there, especially if you're cooking a few pizzas anyways. I need the little peel as well, the turner.
Peel, it's just next to the Ivana, it's hanging.
Oh, yeah, cool. All right, but you want to keep an eye on it because these will start to color super quickly, okay? And so what I do to turn these is I can see some color on the edge. I'm going to bring this out, and I'm just going to, with my fingers, just gently give it a quarter turn. Okay? So you can see that beautiful leopard spotting that we're getting on that pizza there. So this is where you want to be super attentive because, this will start to cook super quickly. And I think people that aren't sort of, that are new to it, they just don't expect it to be that hot and you'll sort of burn a lot of pizzas. So just bring it out. You can either turn this like that, just a quarter turn, and then pop it back in. If you find, like I said, if you find that you're, it might be in a cool place or something, just pop the lid back on there. And just sort of keep that in there, but keep checking the pizza. All right, so again, go in there, give it a turn. And you can see I got a bit of color on that one just in that short amount of time. We can check the bottom for color happening on that. All right, and that's pretty much that for that pizza. Again, bring this around. Okay, so there we go. Bit of color, bit too much, but we'll go back inside now. A little crusty happening on there. All right, so now to finish up this one, we need our little bit of basil oil.
Which I think in the instructions you said to take out of the fridge about an hour before you need to use it.
Yeah, because that oil will thicken up, right? So you want to keep it nice and loose so you can either daub it on, so you can either do little drops in there or you can do a little drizzle around there.
And you just imagine that flavor.
And there
This
we
is
go.
good for texture people who don't like to eat leaves or anything afterwards.
Yeah, and I
know.
think it just allows you, it's just easier to have that, and
Yeah.
it gives the same flavor, a bit of color, and it looks great as well.
How long do you reckon that would last in the fridge?
Like I said, just a couple of days, but you
Yeah.
can freeze it.
Oh,
Even if you wanted to
beautiful.
put in like little cubes or something.
Perfect.
All right, we've got our Havana pizza cutter,
Yes, it
which are
is.
great, super sharp, and we'll just sort of cut into that. We'll go 6 pieces. And this one.
One for me, one for you. At my
I
house,
think
when we
2
make
for me. It's
pizzas,
usually 2 for
basically,
me because I just can't get enough pizza. Like I said,
Yeah,
I
I
grew up with it
know.
as well. The other thing I want to quickly say is, look, if you are having a pizza night, and you still have some dough balls, you still have extra toppings, cook it that night, okay?
Yeah.
Don't say, oh, we'll have some more tomorrow,
cook it.
because by the time you fired up the oven and got it all, just cook it. And I
Mhm.
think pizzas the next day taste
Oh,
so much nicer
amazing.
anyway.
Yeah, they
so
do.
so yeah, don't waste the heat that you've got in there. Don't waste the ingredients. Use them up, and then have it the next day.
That is very, very
Yeah.
cool. Now, I believe you've got some recipes in a book that you have, and you have a special.
We do, yeah. So we've got our new Wanderlust cookbook. For those of you that have it, know that it's recipes from around the world. And the first chapter in there is the Italian chapter. So it's also got details of my mom's sauces, Sunday sauce and pasta al forno, whatever. It's also got at the very front of it details of my dad making his pizzas back in the 50s, and details of the the restaurant as well. But yeah, we've got, seeing as it's pizza day, we thought we'd put a special offer on there. So we've got free shipping. So yeah, if anybody wants to get one, the $39.55, go onto the website and order that up. And pizza day is the coupon, so you get free shipping on that as well.
Fantastic. Now
Excellent.
we've pretty much come to the end of the class. We're going to stay on for the info session, but I just wanted to see if there are any questions before we finish up with Nico. Yes.
One was, why does my dough shrink back when I stretch it out?
Why does the
Okay.
dough shrink back?
Yep. Have you let it come to room temperature?
That's
Is
one of
the
things.
key thing. It's not too cold. And also, I don't know if you're using this recipe, that longer ferment that allows for it to be a bit more elastic. Maybe you just haven't let it proof enough.
Yeah, I find if it's not
Yeah.
proofed enough, then
Yeah.
it tends to shrink back on
Yeah.
itself.
So whatever recipe you're using for your base, just you'll have to let it proof a little bit longer. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't have an Habano, just using a regular oven.
Okay, regular oven, good question. Look, grab yourself a pizza stone, okay? Pizza stone you can get wherever, and just pop it into an oven where you can heat the top and the bottom. What's that? It's not fan
like a
force,
grill?
convention. No, no. You know how you can set it to fan force?
Yes.
Or I think my oven, you say
Conventional.
conventional,
Yes,
yeah?
conventional.
And just crank it as hot as it can go, okay? I know my conventional oven, I can get it up to about 280 degrees.
Yeah,
Yeah. Pop the pizza oven on the bottom anyways,
stone.
and the
Yep.
pizza stone on the bottom, and then just let that crank up and heat up, and then do it on that. It's not going to be the same intense heat to get that sort of bubbling or whatever, but that'll work as well.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you, Nico. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Did
Thank
everyone
you.
get something out of this today? Let me know. Are you going to try this? Pop in the chat box how excited you are about trying this. And Nico, we can't thank you enough for yet again sharing your amazing knowledge.
Love doing it.
And hopefully we'll have you back again.
Thank
Do
you.
some other
Thank you so
things.
much. And yeah, love to hear what you guys think.
Now I'm going to pass you over to Chelsea, who's one of our business development managers, and she is going to run through a very quick 10-minute session on becoming a consultant for those of you that might be interested. So if you are, stick around, and yeah, I'll pass.
Hello, everyone. I am Chelsea McGill. I'm a Thermomix Business Development Manager. And today, as Helen just said, I am going to take you through a really short, sharp info session to find out a little bit more about joining our incredible team. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And I hope you can all see that okay. If you have any questions along the way, please just pop them in the chat and we would love to answer them for you. But I'd love to tell you a little bit about our incredible Thermomix business. So this is something that can be part-time, full-time, or maybe just a little bit of a side hustle for you. I joined Thermomix almost 5 years ago to earn a TM6, then announced the TM6 was coming out, and I had a TM31 and I'd had a TM5, and I thought to myself, if I buy another Thermomix, my husband might divorce me. So I decided to come on board and earn one. And, you know, I thought if I could even just get it that little bit cheaper, it would be absolutely worth it. And then I was leaving 60 days later. Here I am almost 5 years later as a business development manager. Obviously, I didn't go anywhere, but I do absolutely love our Thermomix business and what we have to offer. So your business can really look however you want. It can be in-person, at-home cooking demos. It can be online virtual cooking demos, or it could be utilizing social media to sell and meet people that way. It's very much about what's going to work for you and your potential customers. And we're here to give you all the tools that you need to be able to do whatever method works for you and do it really well. Thermomix are a super generous company. You will hear a little bit more about that throughout this presentation, but we do have 5 different streams of income in our Thermomix business. We do have monthly commission. I meet a lot of people that send me, oh, you know, do you just get paid in freebies? Because there are so many incredible incentives, but we do actually earn commission on all of our sales as well. We have some incredible incentives and rewards along the way. We have mix shop items, second Thermomixes, trips away. We'll go through that a little bit more in just a moment. We also have our mix shop commission. So when your friends, family, and customers pop your name down at checkout on the mix shop, you will take home 15% commission on what they spend. So that's just an incredible way to earn some secondary income there. And then if you do inspire someone to come along and join our team, when they do 3 sales in their first 60 days, you will get a one-time thank you from Thermomix of $360. Now, just so you know, we're not pyramid sellers or multi-level marketing. That is just a one-time from Thermomix to you for growing our team. And then if you decided in the future that you absolutely love this job and you wanted to make it something even more, we have the possibility for team leaders. And upon building your own team, we do have team leader commissions as well, which is incredible. The way our commission works is we work on a calendar month. So the first of the month to the end of the month, and the more Thermomixes that you sell in that time, the more income that you will make. So if you sell one Thermomix in a month, you will get $255 for that sale. When you sell two Thermomixes in a month, you will get $275 per Thermomix, or $550 for that month. 3 is our magic number. The average consultant across Australia does do 3 sales, and you can see why, because we have quite a big jump from 2 to 3. So 3 Thermomix sales in a month takes you to $365 per Thermomix, or $1,095 for the month. 4 to 5 is $395 per Thermomix. 6 to 7 is $415 per Thermomix. 8 to 9 is $425 per Thermomix, and 10 plus is $435 per Thermomix. This business is very much you get out what you put in, and you really can make it whatever is going to work for you around your life and whatever else you have going on. If you are somebody that after your first 2 months is up, you just want to plod along and do 1 sale a month, that's absolutely fine, and we're here to support you with that. If you'd like to go for that average 3 sales a month, taking home that about $1,100 extra in your pocket, that's great. We're here to support you to do that. And if you really want to make this something and earn a great income, you can absolutely do that with that 6, 8, 10 plus sales a month. And we're here to support you to do that as well. I was a Thermomix consultant for 3.5 years before I became a business development manager. My best month with Thermomix, I sold 23 Thermomixes. It was pretty wild. It was pretty busy. I had a lot of fun, and I earned an incredible income that month. So again, it's very much about what you want to get out of it. I did say Thermomix were a really generous company, and we do have some incredible rewards at Thermomix as well. So in that first 2 months in your new business, which we refer to as your 60-day program, you will earn, when you do 3 sales, you will earn a blade cover peeler and a Thermomix cutter, valued at $256. And then when you do 6 sales in that first 60-day period, you will take home, on top of everything else, a second bowl blade and lid set valued at $395. Now, for those of you that already have a Thermomix, you may have a second bowl and you would know just how valuable it is. I do have 3 in my kitchen, and I'm always surprised at how often I use them all. And then we have what we call our booster rewards. This is something really exciting that we have launched this year. So once you complete that first 60 days, so in month 3 through to month 12, with every sale that you do up until 12 sales, you will take home one of these incredible incentives that you see in our pictures here. So we have things like bakeware, the Thermomix sensor, thermo servers, the vacuum seal set, and we also have an Avana pizza oven, which you can earn absolutely free on top of commission. If you haven't got one after the class today, I'm pretty sure you're going to get one. And also a chance to earn yourself another Thermomix absolutely free, which is just incredible. There's over $7,000 of rewards in that booster rewards program. So in that first year of your business. So just amazing. We'd love to give you a little bit more information about that if we have a chat. So we do also have some training. It's not, here's a Thermomix, off you go, work out how to sell them. We very much give you all the skills that you need. So we have our new consultant onboarding program, which is made up of a few different things. We have some online modules that you'll work through. And they're going to take you around 3 hours. You can chip away at those over a few days or weeks, or you might want to sit down and do them in one go. That's fine. Then we have a live facilitated workshop with one of our business development managers. It may be with me if you're in Victoria, or somebody else if you are in another state. And that is where we actually teach you with the right people, to how to ask people to host a demo for you, which people in your life are going to be interested in hosting a demo, helping you out. We can really give you that language and get them interested in hosting and getting your business off the ground. And that's a 90-minute live Zoom. And then we have a practical training, which is conducted with your new team leader. And that is where we actually teach you how to run a cooking experience. So we teach you how to ask the right questions, how to get people really engaged with how a Thermomix is going to look in their life and how it's going to really help them. We teach you which dishes to make, the right questions to ask, that kind of thing. And then you have the option for a business launch, which is where you can buddy up with your new team leader and they can help you run your first cooking experience so you're feeling really confident and comfortable. So what do I need to get started? So you will need a Thermomix and a business kit. Now, we have a few different ways for you to get a Thermomix on your bench. You may already have one, and you can absolutely join as an owner with your current Thermomix, and there is no extra cost there, which is awesome. You can buy yourself a TM6 using one of our many payment methods like interest-free finance, one-off, 3 payments, whatever works for you. Or you might like to earn your Thermomix or reduce the cost of your Thermomix, and we'll go through that in just a moment. You will also need one of our business kits. So whether you're coming on as an owner or to earn a Thermomix, you will need one of our business kits. It is just $150 and there is over $400 value in it. You can see it at the top of my screen there. That does include our great travel bag, thermoserver bread mat, flip chart, brochures, folders, pens, cups, bits and pieces like that you will need to do some great demos. Now, the way that our Earn program works, it truly is the best way to get a Thermomix on your bench. And right now, which is really, really exciting, if you did decide to join before the 16th of March, you can join on our Earn 4 program. So just 4 sales in that first 60 days is going to cover the cost of your Thermomix. So you essentially are not paying anything for a Thermomix, which is amazing. So how our Earn program works is you put down an $849 deposit, which can be done on ZipPay, Afterpay, PayPal 4 if you would like to pay it off, or of course in one installment. And then we spend a couple of weeks helping you get to know that new Thermomix and getting all of that training done that we talked about. So making sure that you're feeling really confident and comfortable. And then you get out there, and in that first 60 days, we'll work with you every step of the way to achieve 4 sales. When you do 4 sales, you will have that $849 deposit refunded back to you, and your Thermomix is absolutely paid for and all yours, which is incredible. Now, I meet a lot of people that say to me, oh, what if I don't get the 4 sales? And that's absolutely fine. That is a really great way to get a reduced price Thermomix on your bench. So if you were to get 3 sales in that 60 days, you get a half price Thermomix, which is just insane. 2 sales, there'd be a bit of a balance owing, and you would have reduced the cost, and 1 sale again will have reduced the buy-in of your Thermomix as well. So if you're going to get a Thermomix, why not have a shot earning one, because it really is the best way to do it. Now, we'd love to give you a little bit more information. We'd love to have a chat and answer any questions that you may have, or take you through those next steps if this is something that you are thinking about doing. We would love to have you on board to join our team. So if you would like to have a chat, please let us know, and we would love to take you through what is next. As I said, I absolutely love what I do. Joining Thermomix 5 years ago was absolutely the best decision that I have made for my family and myself in a very long time. And I'm very happy that I am still around. So thank you again, everybody. We hope you loved the Nico class and our business info session. Thanks so much.